How are we doing, everybody? UFC Thoughts here, and today I am going to be talking about UFC 293 Adesanya vs. Strickland, winners and losers, and my thoughts on the card as a whole. Let's get right into it. Let's start with Kevin Gisette, the winner of the very first fight on UFC 293. Let's look at his stats. 39 out of 69 total strikes, 29 of which were significant. One takedown, one Kiefer win for the failed trip, and one sub attempt that he did succeed with a rear naked choke. Things I saw from Kevin: beautiful jab on him. It was super stiff. It was landing all night. Better stand up than I thought. I discredited him. He proved me wrong. The leg kicks of Kevin were beautiful. It was getting to Kiefer. He was injuring that front leg, tagging him up. Nice counters. Kiefer was running in, and Kevin would just sling a left hook at him and fucking catch him. Beautiful back take when presented. When Kevin saw the back of Kiefer, he took that shit immediately. I'm going to matchmake him with Rolando Bedoya, who's coming off the Kanan Song loss. I think it's a good matchup. I think both can win it. I think you want to build up a French fighter a week after UFC Paris. I think you give him a guy like Rolando Bedoya, who's kind of a fan favorite, kind of a matchmaker's dream. Now we look at the loser, Kiefer Crosby, who got submitted in the first round. Let's look at his stats. 45 of 66 total strikes, 39 of which were significant. Things I saw from Kiefer: he's explosive. He had a couple moments where he charged in, kind of clashed heads with Kevin a lot. He was kind of stiff, I'm not going to lie. His striking, he definitely power behind him, but he didn't look all that great. Easily countered. Like I said, Kevin landed some slick counters. And the fight IQ of Kiefer is questionable. He went for a trip on Kevin Gisette, who is a black belt in judo. And I think he's pretty high in jiu-jitsu too. And he immediately gave his back. He didn't fight hands, which I understand in the heat of the moment. It happens. The way he got submitted is his own fault. I'm going to matchmake him with Gabe Green, who, of course, lost to Brian Battle in his last fight in like 10 seconds or some shit. I think that fight is good, because they're both just going to strike. Next up, we go to the winner of the second fight of UFC 293, Gabriel Miranda. Let's look at his stats. 2 of 6 total and significant strikes, 1 of 2 takedowns, 1 sub attempt, which he completed the rear naked choke. This fight was a train wreck for Shane Young. Things I saw from Gabriel: he threw one front kick, it landed to the body, looked pretty decent. His chin is still in the air. Shane Young hit him in like the first 10 seconds or something with a solid right hand. He uses his size well, though. Gabriel Miranda, he charged at him, took him down, got the back take almost immediately. The squeeze is crazy. Like they mentioned on the broadcast, it originally wasn't even under the chin of Shane Young, and he still got him with it. I'm going to matchmake Gabriel Miranda up with Melquizael Costa. This is one of my favorite prospects right now. Of course, in his debut, we got Thiago Moises, but Melquizael is coming off a win in a dominant performance with beautiful stand-up. I think this fight makes sense for both. They're both Brazilian finishers. You give them both each other, it's going to be a fun-ass fight for the fans. Put him in a fight night with a crowd. Next up, we got Shane Young. Just get the fuck out of here, man. Next up, we got Charles Radke. Holy shit. Let's look at his stats. 63 of 112 total strikes, 35 of which were significant. 1 of 6 on takedowns, which he got in the very first round. Things I saw from Charles: he's got some good power. He rocked Blood Diamond a couple of times. It is what it is. He's got good clinch. He held Blood Diamond against the cage for a majority of this fight. Decent striking. Like I said, he clipped the kickboxer. He's boring. You don't get to say baguette with an F at the end in your post-fight interview fighting the way you do. You weren't that exciting, pal. I'm going to matchmake him with Johnny Parsons, the Sluggernaut. I'm the Sluggernaut. This guy who's coming off the Danny Roberts KO, I would say. I think that's who he fought. I think it's a good fight. I think Johnny is not going to allow Charles to clinch with him. I think it's going to be a stand-up fight. Exchange of power. Just sounds kind of fun. Get them both out. Get Shane Young and Blood Diamond off the roster. Now we're on to the prelims. Nasrat Haqparast, 172 out of 378 total strikes. 171 of those were significant, you know what I'm saying? 0 of 5 on takedowns. He kind of just couldn't get it going. Things I saw: beautiful jab from Nasrat. That's one of the key parts of his game, of course, but it was on point tonight, or Saturday rather. He was pressuring Landon the entire fight. He has good counters. He rocked Landon, and I think in the second round with a beautiful left hook. It was just good game plan. The game plan was just simply outbox him, outclass him on the feet, don't get hit, and he did not. beautiful, just boxing in general. The boxing of Nasrat was on point. Bigger moments than Landon. That's why he won the fight. And the cardio, he was doing the same thing the entire fight, and he could keep doing it the entire fight. I'm going to matchmake Nasrat with Mike Davis. This is just in, like, prayers that Mike Davis comes back. Come back to fight, man. This fight would be so sick for Mike Davis's return after over a year off, you know. Just give him Nasrat Haqparast. Just give the fans what they want, you know what I'm saying? Next up, we got Landon Quinones, who, of course, lost to Nasrat Haqparast. I was actually pretty impressed with Landon. 152 of 359 total strikes, 148 of which were significant. Things I saw from Landon. In the first round, he was very quick. Landon is very quick. Nice body attack. He had some beautiful body kicks. He landed some good shots to the body, I'd say. The leg kicks of Landon, he fucking tagged up the lead leg of Nasrat. Hey! That's, of course, his corner. He mixes it up well. He knows when to mix in the kicks and punches. Unlike Nasrat, who was purely boxing, Landon was a kickboxer. He lost, though, but he just leaves too many openings. That's one of the main reasons why he lost. He kept getting clipped by Nasrat. His guard doesn't really do well against a fighter like Nasrat, who's constantly throwing. The clinch work from Landon, I think it was in the third round. He landed some good knees. And he's just a dog, man. Got that dog mentality. He just is going to keep coming at you no matter what. I'm going to matchmake Landon Quinones with Yanal Eshmuz, who, of course, is coming off the Chris Duncan loss, in which I think he broke his arm. This fight would be fucking bonkers. The power of Yanal Eshmuz and the chin of Landon Quinones, this fight would be fucking berserk. I feel like it would be a fight of the night, possibly on a fight night card in the Apex. Put it together, please. Please, I beg of you. Next up, we move to Jamie Mullarkey, who's the winner, I guess. 88 of 179 total / significant strikes. 0 of 2 on takedowns. Things I saw from Jamie, of course, he always has some solid leg kicks, a good jab. He used his range. He's a very rangy lightweight. He's pretty quick, still got the speed. The footwork was working for a large portion of the fight. The body work from Jamie, he was throwing body kicks, throwing body shots the entire time, had some good knees, I think. He's still getting clipped, though. That's a main issue with Jamie Mullarkey. He is still getting clipped to the day and arguably should have lost this fight to John McDessie. He got clipped really bad in the second round. I think John steals that second round with the drop. I know they didn't count it as a knockdown. That's a fucking knockdown. He fucking clipped him. Third round was very close. I think John lands the harder strikes, though. I'm going to matchmake him with a loser in Ismael Bonfim. Ismael lost his last fight, of course, to Benoit Saint-Denis, who is now a rising star. Ismael, you want to get him in there, get him against Jamie Mullarkey, get him against a large Aussie prospect, you know, throw him in there. Next up, we got John McDessie, who is the supposed loser against Jamie Mullarkey. He went 85 of 190 total strikes, 83 of which were significant, 0 of 1 on takedowns. Traditional stuff we see from John, nice entries, solid setups, good kicks, especially some solid body kicks. Great takedown defense. I mean, he's just so hard to take down. The power of John is still there. I mean, he cooked the chin of Jamie in the second round. Robbery, I'll put a question mark because it is a very close fight. The third round is close, but I think it's pretty clear it's 1-1 going into that third round. I'm going to matchmake John like he won this fight. I'm going to give him Nurullo Aliyev, who is the mini Khabib dude who beat Rafael Alves in February, I believe. He hasn't fought since then. I don't know what's going up with that. I haven't heard any information about him. I don't think he has a fight booked. I think this fight is fun. I think it's a very fun fight for both of them. I think it's winnable. Just test the newcomer, see if the old man still got it. Let's move on. Chepe Mariscal. 87, 143 total strikes, 38 of which were significant. Things I saw. Chepe is, of course, a brawler. He is a brawler fight style in the modern era. And, I mean, it worked, man. He was technically losing. I didn't mean technically loses. I didn't mean he technically lost his fight. I mean, technically, he was losing in the stand-up. In the stand-up, technically, Jack was doing better. But Chepe was making it a dogfight, especially in the second round. At the beginning, he was pressing Jack Jenkins, and he is very strong, and he got the throw. And it's unfortunate that's the way the fight ended. It was very fun up to that point, but what are you going to do, man? Shit happens in MMA. He's a dog, man. I'm going to matchmake Chepe up with Hakeem Dawodu, who's coming off the Cub Swanson loss. Test him even more. Give him a hard matchup against a Hakeem Dawodu, who is going to put Chepe in bad, unfavorable positions, See how Chepe handles him. If he wins, give him a fucking ranked opponent. I don't know. This guy is defying the odds at this point. And we move on to the loser, Jack Jenkins. 43 of 70 total strikes, 41 of which were significant, 0 of 1 on takedowns. Things I saw, he was winning at range, but he struggled in the pocket. In a phone booth fight, Chepe was winning. The leg kicks are still cool. He was landing a significant amount of them, landing some just good kicks in general. Jack's kicking game is good. And you'll see I put damn 3 separate times, as this is going to be a long layoff for a fighter that I was super excited for in Jack Jenkins. But again, you can't really do much. I mean, Chepe is the one that did the throw. You cannot get mad at it. It's what happens. When Jack Jenkins comes back, I would like to match him up with an Andre Philly who's been in the game for a while, who's going to be a very fun fight. Make it a dog fight like Chepe did. But Andre isn't going to get a throw TKO or throw arm injury. They're going to swang and bang, baby. And that's a winnable fight for both. With the power Andre Philly has, you never know. Hell, he almost knocked out Nathaniel Wood. Yeah, it's just a fun fight, man. We move on to the featured prelim winner and Carlos Ulberg stats. This is going to be a while. 1 knockdown, 91 of 165 total strikes, 81 of which were significant, 1 and 2 on takedowns, and 1 sub attempt, which he got. Things I saw from Carlos Ulberg: power. Again, in the first round, he drops fucking Dawoon Jun. Very patient. He has a patient striking game now. He was very patient, waited for his openings, and I have highlighted 1s and 2s. He was landing 1s and 2s the entire time. Beautiful jab from Mr. Ulberg. Puts it on when he needs to in the first round. The knockdown, it was Carlos was having a lack of action, and then he threw like a 4-punch combo and drops Dawoon Jung. He's very quick. Still got the speed. Nice tie clinch. I don't know in which round it was, but he landed some beautiful knees to the body and head of Dawoon Jung. And get back up. Dawoon Jung got the takedown in the third round, and Carlos got up almost immediately. And when Carlos got his takedown, he had a beautiful top presence. He was landing beautiful ground and pound, heavy ground and pound, and then finishing it off with a rear naked choke. I like the call out Carlos made. Not as a fight fan. I don't want to see Dominic Reyes get knocked out again, but it makes sense rankings-wise. You got a guy like Carlos Ulberg who's on a 5-fight winning streak, 4 of which are finishes, 3 of which are first-round TKOs and KOs. You got to give this guy a ranked opponent soon. And I think now is better than never. And a guy like Dominic Reyes, who was on the losing skid that he's on, 4 fights, I believe. I mean, what are you going to do, man? It's just life. It's life. Now we move on to the loser of the featured prelim. Dawoon Jung stats: 60 of 123 total strikes, 58 of which were significant. 1 of 2 on takedowns. He didn't hold him down for that long, though. Things I saw from Dawoon: leg kicks are always on point from Dawoon. He landed some heavy ones on Carlos, but they didn't seem to phase him a lot. I don't know if Carlos's legs are made of fucking titanium, but good pressure from Dawoon. He was pressuring Carlos almost the entire fight, other than when Carlos would have those outbursts where he lunges forward and tags Dawoon. The problem with Dawoon Jung now is he just doesn't throw enough. Like, if you look at the numbers between him and Carlos Ulberg says he only threw 40 more strikes, but it seems like he threw fucking 100 more than what Dawoon Jung did. When Dawoon had Carlos pressed against the cage, he just didn't throw enough, and that was one of the main reasons why he lost. Also, just getting Carlos had a power advantage and busted him up, which probably discouraged Dawoon bad. I'm going to match up Dawoon with a mean matchup, Vitor Petrino, who is a blistering prospect in the light heavyweight division. I mean, this dude is a monster. He is a fucking freak, not going to lie. Vitor's 2-0 in the UFC. Give him a guy like Dawoon Jung who has a long tenured career in the UFC, you're going to give him some fans. And I think that's what they're going to do with Vitor. Try and push him to the top as best as they can. We are officially on the pay-per-view, fellas. We are first up with Tyson Pedro, the winner of the pay-per-view opener. 1 knockdown, 16 of 29 total / significant strikes. Pedro looked very good. Beautiful striking, great right hand, and his feints were on point. One thing I would like to add is that he was very susceptible to the leg kicks of Anton, but in the end it didn't matter, did it? Couple right hands and Anton was tasting the fucking canvas, I'll tell you that much. Tyson looked very good. I'm going to give him a matchup that is going to be a bit wonky. I'm going to give him Alonzo Menifield. Alonzo Menifield is, of course, coming off the Jimmy Crute fight, the second fight where he submitted him in the second round. Alonzo hits very hard. It's going to be a rough fight for both of them, but I can see them putting that on either a fight night co-main event in the Apex or like a fucking pay-per-view opener or featured prelim, that's an exciting fight right there for the light heavyweight division. I don't think Tyson Pedro's ready for rankings yet. Give him a cool matchup, though. Give him a cool matchup like Alonzo Menifield. I'm going to leave the what's next open because I think it's very obvious what's next for Anton. 9 of 25 total strikes, 8 of which were significant. He has good leg kicks. The pressure man, he gets good pressure, but he just can't take shots, man. And I feel bad for Anton because it's like they gave him a fucking murderer's row, dude. Fucking Jailton Almeida, Vitor Petrino, and Tyson Pedro. That's rough. But it is what it is. I say he gets cut. I don't think we see Anton in the UFC for a while. Give him some more time to develop. He might be back. I don't know. We move down the pay-per-view. Justin Tafa. Holy shit. 1 knockdown, 11 of 14 total slash significant strikes. Holy shit. Great power. He can get inside on a taller opponent. Holy shit. Brutal ground and pound. We don't see it from Justin like his forefather, Mark Hunt. He doesn't like to do ground and pound, but he did, and he bounced Austin Lane's head on the fucking canvas, and he gets you when it least expect it. It reminded me of the Khalil Roundtree-Chris Dawkins knockout, where they're both coming off an exchange, and Justin Tafa just launches a fucking left hand at fucking, in this case, Austin Lane's chin and drops him bad. I'm gonna give Justin Tafa a Mick Parkin. Heavyweight's at a weird gray area right now where most of the contenders in the rankings have fought each other, but there's a lot of young contenders coming up who have not fought each other. Justin Tafa is 4-3 in the UFC. I don't believe he belongs in the rankings yet. He has too many losses. He's lost too many of his fights. He's on a, I believe, 2-fight win streak, is it now? Because he's coming off the Parker Porter, or is it a 3-fight unbeaten streak? Who gives a shit? I give him Mick Parker, who's coming off the Jamal Pogues fight. He looked pretty good. Make some of these young heavyweights fight each other, man. Stop giving them old fuckers who are ancient in the division. Make them fight each other, see who's the best. I would like to see this fight. It's a cool fight. Cool stand-up battle. Put it on a fucking, I don't know, put it somewhere. I don't give a shit. Next up, we have a loser in Austin Lane. Stats 7 of 15 total slash significant strikes. Things I saw. Yet another eye poke. Athletic, though. Austin Lane is a very athletic guy. He did a fucking weird-ass, it was like a sidekick to the face of Justin Tafa, but it missed completely, but it was like, how does he get his leg that high? Solid kicks. Leaves his chin in the air, that's why he got clipped, and he can get pressured by a smaller guy, which is kind of wild. Now listen, I know my matchup makes no sense considering what I just said, but Austin Lane just lost to Justin Tafa. Give him a winnable fight. Give him a winnable fight in Parker Porter. I just want to see something. I want to see how many losses Parker Porter can get before the UFC cuts him. I want to see how needy the heavyweight division of the UFC is, to see how long they keep Parker Porter around and how many times he can lose memories of third grade. Next up, we have Manel Kape. Let's look at his stats. 1 knockdown, 116 of 186 total strikes. 112 of those were significant. 1 of 1 on takedowns, which he got in the third round. Things I saw, Manel can get hit. Felipe Dos Santos was hitting him plenty. Solid counters, though. Manel, in the first round, I think Felipe lunged in with a jab, and Manel ducked under and hit him with a right. Just dropped him bad. Power. Manel, four fights in a row, dropping his opponent. I mean, what the fuck? He can fade. Manel started to slow down a little bit. I don't know how I like that. He doesn't care about public image. I mean, again, a fighter saying baguette with an F in front of it in their post-fight interview. DC is going to get fired. Good takedown defense. Felipe couldn't really even attempt to get him down. Good takedown defense by Manel. I'm going to pair him with the fight everyone wants to see, and him and Kai Kara France. Everyone wants to see this fight. Your grandma, who doesn't know about the UFC, wants to see this fight. The build-up to it would be fucking insane, especially with what ammo both of them have now. I mean, a fun fight even. Make it a main event of a fight night. Even with a crowd, make this a main event. I don't give a shit. Make this fight, please. As soon as Kai Kara is healthy, make this a fight. You know how funny it would be if they booked it and Manel Kape pulled out? Or Kai Kara pulled out again? Next up, we got Felipe Dos Santos, and personally one of my most impressive losing performances I've seen in a while. Stats, 101 of 310 total strikes, 99 of which were significant, 0 of 5 on takedown. He's a quick boy. This dude Felipe is quick and decent power. There are some times where Manel's legs were getting a little too inflatable arm flailing two-man for my taste. And I was like, oh, the front kicks of Felipe are beautiful. There was a combo that Felipe did, I swear to God, 3 times, where he would throw 2 body teep kicks and then a jumping switch teep kick to the body, and it was wild how many times he did it. Good cardio. He took this fight on short notice and still was able to go 3 rounds, and I mean able to go 3 rounds. He was looking pretty solid in the 3rd round still. He can hang with the best. I mean, he hung around with Manel Kopp. After the 1st round, they were both exchanging some fists, and he's exciting. This dude's exciting as fuck. I'm going to pair him with the undefeated Azat Maksum. I was not that impressed with Azat in his debut against Tyson Nam. I'm still not sure about him. Let's pair him up with Felipe. 2 contenders fighting each other, as the UFC should be. Let's see who's better, man. Fuck it. Next up, we have the winner of the co-main event, Alexander Volkov. Stats: 1 knockdown, 107 of 164 total strikes, 93 of which were significant, 0 of 1 on takedowns, 1 sub attempt, which he got with the Ezekiel choke. Things I saw from Alexander, the body shots. I mean, he was throwing some good body kicks, some good just uppercuts and straights to the fucking gut of Tai Tuivasa, and I mean gut. He picked his shots perfectly, like I said in my breakdown. He picks his shots well, and he can eat leg kicks. Tai Tuivasa, a big part of Tai's game are the leg kicks, and he had plenty of them. Alexander counters well. He countered the leg kick of Tai Tuivasa by grabbing the leg and throwing a right hand down the pipe at Tai, and that's in the end. In the sequence where Alexander gets him on the ground and gets top mount, that is what he did to get Tai to the ground. And now he has a good presence on the ground. He transitioned well every time. When he transitioned to top mount, I was like, oh my fucking God. This is not going to be good. And he got a fucking Ezekiel choke, which he probably learned from fucking Alexei Olenek, because I think Alexei Olenek is the only other guy in the UFC to have an Ezekiel choke. I don't know if they mentioned that. Maybe I'm wrong. I pair Alexander Volkov up with Curtis Blades. Now, I know what you're saying. Curtis Blades has a fight with Jailton Almeida. I'm not going to say winner or loser anymore of fights. I'm going to predict these fights. I'm gonna give a spoiler alert. I have Jailton Almeida beating Curtis Blades. I'm gonna say it. I think you give Alexander Volkov the loser of that. The winner of that, I don't know what you do with him. Probably a way higher ranked fighter. These two have already fought in a main event, 5 rounds. Curtis Blades kind of just took down Alexander Volkov and held him down, did some damage. I say you do this fight again. If Alexander Volkov has improved his ground game, what better way to prove it than against one of the UFC's top wrestlers in heavyweight? And I think that Alexander Volkov, that'll be a good fight for both of them. Test each other out. Next up, we have the loser of UFC 293's co-main event, Tai Tuivasa. God damn it. Stats: 30 of 69 total strikes, 28 of 67 significant strikes. Things I saw: solid leg kicks from Tai Tuivasa. Again, an undersized matchup. Can we stop giving Tai Tuivasa guys who are just clearly going to beat him? I mean, Cyril Gane, Sergey Pavlovich, and fucking Alexander Volkov? Give the man a fun fight, for fuck's sake. He could get inside on Volkov. Too bad Volkov's defense is too good now. He got predictable with the leg kicks. I know that leg kicks are like his main, like a big part of Tai Tuivasa's game and his stand-up. He got way too predictable, and that's why he got on the ground. And he's bad off his back. I mean, you can't really say, like, having a 6'7" dude just laying on top of you, that's gotta fucking suck. I say he rematches Derek Lewis. Derek Lewis is coming off the 52nd KO of Rogerio de Lima. I say you rematch these two guys. Tai Tuivasa has been vastly different. 3-fight losing streak. Derek Lewis has won his first fight in forever. I think this fight makes sense. Rankings-wise, Tai Tuivasa is probably going to be around 7. I don't want to give Derek Lewis too big of a matchup after beating Rogerio de Lima. Match up him and Tai Tuivasa again. I think that's a very fun fight. Now we're on to the main event. Now for this one, I'm going to start with the loser because my take is going to be a hot one, I guarantee it. Israel Adesanya. He lost the middleweight title. Stats: 94 of 271 total / significant strikes. Goddamn, man. Things we saw. Easily bullied. Sean Strickland stalked Israel Adesanya the entire time. There was about 30 seconds of the fight where Israel Adesanya is the one walking forward. He isn't himself without the counter. Israel could not counter Sean Strickland, and he looked dead. he looked dead in the water. And I think he got discouraged from the knockdown and him not being able to hit Sean Strickland. I don't know if it's true, but my cousin told me that in the corner, Israel Adesanya said, "I don't understand why my shots aren't landing." He was so confused that the American man was dogging him. He was beating him up. The gas tank. I think Israel Adesanya missing all the shots, walking back all the time, and Sean Strickland hitting body teeps gassed out Israel Adesanya. He did not look good in this fight. This takes away the middleweight GOAT title from Israel Adesanya. This fight was not a good performance from him. And I don't think there's any excuses. I think Sean Strickland had a perfect game plan, and I don't think Israel Adesanya was ready for it. He looked dog shit. Pun intended. I'm going to pair him up with Dricus Du Plessis. Israel Adesanya does not deserve a rematch with Sean Strickland. He is 1-2 in his last 3, KO'd in one of them, and beat almost every round in the other one. He just started his second reign. He does not deserve an immediate title shot. I say you give Dricus Du Plessis a fight with Israel Adesanya to see who fights for the title after that. This fight is a humongous setback for Israel Adesanya legacy-wise. And I say you give him the Dricus fight, because I'm going to bring up why I don't think Dricus gets the title shot. And it's all about money, right? This fight will make the UFC a lot of money. Dricus Du Plessis and Israel Adesanya do not like each other. That is a fact. They do not like each other, and this fight will bring money. And after seeing Sean Strickland and Israel Adesanya fight, I don't know how this fight goes anymore. If I'm being honest, I really don't know how it goes.
Here's the thing, guys. I just beat the Chinaman champion across 5 rounds.
Sean Strickland fucking did it. I cannot fucking believe that he beat Israel Adesanya, and not even in controversial fashion. He beat him across 5 rounds. Let's look at his stats. 1 knockdown in the first round with a beautiful right hand counter to Israel's left hand counter. 137 of 259 total significant strikes. Holy shit. Sean Strickland is the perfect blueprint. He really is. Pressure and good defense. And able to land shots on Israel. That's the blueprint. The body teeps of Sean Strickland. I brought it up when I was talking about Israel Adesanya. Sean Strickland threw the body teep, I swear to God, 30 times. And he landed almost every single fucking one. The pressure from Sean Strickland, he walked forward almost every second of the goddamn fight. And his defense is still there. Highest defense in modern middleweight history. He is a fucking god of defense. But then Alex Pereira can just fucking dink him, I guess. And he can counter the counter. Every time Israel tried to counter Sean Strickland would counter his counter. A counter for a counter. Deal with it, bitch. He checks the kicks of Israel, and he dominates him the entire fight. It is the most absurd thing I have ever seen. How a guy like Sean Strickland can get hit by a guy like Alex Pereira, or Busby Magomedov, and fucking Jared Cannonier, but a guy such as Israel Adesanya, who is a renowned kickboxer and has landed over 50% of his shots on everybody he has ever fought in the fucking UFC, struggles to hit Sean Strickland. I don't get it. And the matchup I'm going to make is Khamzat Chimaev, which is a big money fight for the UFC. I think Khamzat is going to beat Paulo Costa on October 21st, and this is going to be the fight they are going to make. This fight is a money fight, ladies and gentlemen. You're telling me if Khamzat doesn't go out there and demolish Paulo Costa, you don't try and get him in there in a title fight as soon as possible? Dana White will guzzle Khamzat's chode up if he wins this fight with Paulo Costa. If Paulo Costa beats Khamzat Chimaev, he will gobble up Paulo Costa's chode and give him the Sean Strickland fight. Israel isn't going to get a rematch. I say Khamzat or Paulo gets the title shot. I'm giving it to Khamzat because I think he'll win. I've never been more amazed with a fighter as I am with Sean Strickland. How he dominated Israel Adesanya will be remembered forever and ever and ever. I'm UFC Thoughts, and these have been my UFC 293 Adesanya vs. Strickland Afterthoughts. What's next for every winner and loser of each fight. And, yeah, I'll see you guys next week for UFC Noche. Let's go.